Honestly, if I saw him right now after all these years, I'd do it again. That was my revenge on him, but she needed to understand what she did also. So about a month later, I revenge cheated with one of her friends. When I told her, the look on her face told me she understood the damage much better than she would have. Otherwise, it also instantly eliminated any feelings of emasculation or inadequacy in the bedroom. I know most people would say not to do that, or that I'm just as bad as her. That's complete nonsense. I never would have done it if she hadn't. She accepted my revenge affair, stayed with me, and to be really honest, since this all happened, she has been as close to a perfect wife as anyone could be. There are things we do or don't do, though. She isn't going for a girls' night out. She isn't working in an office with opposite-sex coworkers or bosses. She isn't going on vacation by herself. I can and do check her phone, email, and social media anytime I want. And if I ever find out any of them are password protected, I'm out. If you're thinking she has no choice but do these things, she does. Her parents left her enough to be totally independent. If we split, she actually would have more than me. And we never had kids, so she doesn't need me. She stays because she wants to. I do the same things. I don't go out drinking, etc., although I self-medicated through my 20s and part of my 30s with alcohol. But I did it at home, not out at bars. All in all, I would say we're pretty happy now, but I will say there hasn't been an hour that I haven't thought about what she did. And anger and resentment still pop up unexpectedly. In case you're wondering if it happened today, I wouldn't even consider taking her back. Ye grew up in an island resort town on the coast of New Jersey. My parents divorced when I was 4, and my father raised me. I didn't really have a relationship with my mother. My grandfather has started buying rental properties in the area right after World War II, and he was very successful. My dad kept the business going and had set up a trust that included some money and a couple rentals to get me started, which I would get when I turned 25. I met my wife when we were 17 and it was early February. I was instantly crazy about her, and I believe she was crazy about me also. If not, she is the best actress ever. So, by the end of April, and against my father and her parents' advice and wishes, she moved in with me. I guess my dad didn't want to see us waste money renting, so he let us move into one of the rental houses. He figured it would be mine relatively soon anyway. Her parents didn't like me at all and gave her the choice: stay with them and cut it off with me, or they would cut contact with her. At 17, we were still both minors, but in less than a year, we would both legally be adults anyway, so they basically disowned her. That's how 2 kids at 17 ended up living like married adults. At 17, and living in a beach town, as soon as the summer started, we were going to beach parties, drinking, etc. almost every night, surfing and water skiing during the day. One of the other kids at these parties was a guy I was friends with my whole life. Our fathers were friends their whole lives, and our grandfathers had been friends since before WW2. This guy I was friends with also happened to be her ex-boyfriend. They were over before she started seeing me. I will call this friend AP. At only 17, my wife and I didn't understand what it means to be an adult, and we started fighting. I'm not blaming her, it was as much my fault as hers. But being a naive kid, I still trusted her 100%. It never even entered my mind she might do something like she did. Anyway, in the last week of August, while at a party, I was pretty drunk and she came to ask if I minded if she went for a ride with AP. For some reason I still don't understand, I said okay. I think that ride is probably the first time she cheated, but honestly it's only a guess. After an hour, or a little more reality hit, and I decided to walk home. When I got there, they were both in the house. I totally freaked. Now AP is a big guy, must be 6'2", over 200 lbs, but he's just a big marshmallow. I'm 5'6", at the time I was 165 lbs, but I was an athlete and I always had a smart mouth, so I had a lot of experience. AP knew what was coming and beat it quick. We argued, but she swore nothing happened, and I believed her. I don't know why I believed her, but I did. Then came the Friday before Labor Day weekend. I had gotten a job, just something to do for the coming winter. It can get boring in a beach town during the cold months. That Friday was my first day. I got up and went to work. While I was gone, she had AP, and probably at least one other person come over, pack her stuff, and leave. She has refused to ever tell me who helped her. I assume it was AP and someone, but I don't know for sure. When I got home, she was gone, just like that. No goodbye, no note, no nothing. This, of course, was way before cell phones and email, etc., so I had no way to contact her. I still don't know where they went. I can tell you, I looked for them everywhere. I knew she must be with him, but they weren't at his house, not at her parents', not at any mutual friends that had their own place. I was devastated. I didn't hear anything all weekend. Then Monday morning she called and asked if she could come home. Being afraid I would end up alone, I was just a stupid, naive kid, I said yes, and 2 hours later she walked in the door. She had nothing but what she was wearing, and I never saw any of her other things again. No idea what happened to it. And that's everything I know about her cheating then leaving. In 38 years, she has never been willing to talk about it at all. If I try, to this day, she shuts down, looks down at her lap, and won't say a single word until I change the subject. Even though I wanted her, I knew I couldn't live with myself if I let them get away with what they did. So I told her I was going to find AP and what would happen when I did. She didn't object. Her only condition was that if I was going to jump him, to just do it and not talk to him or ask him questions. So that's what I did. I guess he figured once she was back it would be safe for go back to his parents. It wasn't. He ended up pretty beat up in the emergency room, and yes, I was arrested. My wife was there with bail and a lawyer almost as soon as I was charged. I would have ended up in pretty serious trouble, but my dad and his parents talked and everyone agreed that if I paid for the doctor, etc., and took an anger management class, AP would drop the charges. That was the last time I ever saw him.